Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly for pricing. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing the new for 2021 Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore 43mm, a new case size. Between the 44 and the 42, this might be just right. So it's 43 millimeters in diameter in a combination of ceramic bezel and rose gold case. 14.4 millimeters thick, and if we measure these little intermediate links, which are the outermost points of the case, then the total distance across the wrist is 56.3 millimeters. I'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and you can see it fits. But I do think you need a wrist of my size or larger to wear this well. If your wrist is smaller than 16, you're gonna have some trouble there. You're gonna want a smaller Royal Oak or Royal Oak Offshore. It's not thick though. At under 15 millimeters thick, it's fairly slender for what it is. And I can see it fitting easily underneath a jacket cuff. The strap is high grade. You can see a vulcanized rubber. It has a matte finish. The lines of little plots are continued through the molding of the strap. You can see it has a little cut bevel on the side to match the bevel of the case. It's nicely detailed. It is a brand new AP factory strap. And these new Royal Oak Offshores have a push-button quick release system, so you can quickly swap between straps as well as bracelets when available. And just as easily as a car seat belt, they snap right back in. Rolling around the buckle, it is a handsome piece. You can see all in satin finish with the exception of a lovely polished bevel on the side and a polished end. Take a quick look. You can see internally there's a quick release mechanism. So just as you can quick release the strap from the case, you can quick release the buckle from the strap to rapidly swap. The case is beautifully hand finished, as all Royal Oaks are, a combination of judicious satination and polish for contrast. It's rendered on the metal. You'll appreciate that the straps are held together by both the click lock system and screws and bars for security. We have a black bezel gasket. It's less evident on the versions of the Royal Oak Offshore with black bezels, but you can see we have the ceramic bezel, which is very scratch resistant, and then below that a thick bezel gasket, which is part of the design. You can also see that this is a more nuanced bezel design than we've seen on previous Royal Oak Offshores. It's thickest at 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Then you can see it actually slims down as it slopes down towards 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And you can see well from over the top that it's got a little bit of curvature to it. So the actual thickness of the bezel waxes and wanes. Over on the crown side, you can see we have little shear guards for the crown and the chronograph pushers. Those are fixed by screws, so if they get gouged, they can be replaced more easily. The chronograph pushers, as well as the crown shoulder, are made of scratch-resistant ceramic. And you can see both crown shoulder and the pushers are alternately polished and satinated, which is a nice piece of attention to detail. We do have a screw-down crown. This watch is 100 meters water resistant. The hexagonal bolts inside the bezel, as well as the rounded octagonal form, a nod to the original Royal Oak created by designer Gerald Genta for Audemars Piguet in 1972. You'll see that the crown shoulder is also hexagonal in form, a nod to those steel bolts. Vertical satination atop the bezel. The dial is a fascinating large hobnail, the tapisserie here executed with a sort of web-like network between the primary hobnails. It's a different, more technical look that has industrial overtones and several different textures as it's engraved in different ways that alternately create matte and polished reflections. Taking a quick look outboard, we have a tachymeter scale, which can be used with the chronograph to gauge the speed of a car over a kilometer. We have rose gold indices, chapter rings for the sub-registers, hands, and AP logo. This is a true sports watch, being highly water-resistant, automatic winding, and well-loomed. You can see now that we have an in-house caliber from Audemars Piguet. It's no longer a modular chronograph movement, so the date is flush with the dial now. We have a stop second or hacking function that allows you to stop the watch and set it to a reference time. Then we also have a quick set mechanism. And what I like about the latest generation of AP watches, certainly since 2020, is that when we have a font on the date wheel, the same font is used elsewhere on the dial. That 3 on the 13 is the same as the 3 on the tachymeter, is the same as the 3 on the chronograph minutes display. Attention to detail matters in luxury. On the reverse side, we have caliber 4401 here. 4401 is a bidirectional automatic winder, and it has a 70-hour power reserve. It pivots on ceramic bearings for high efficiency. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. And the important thing about the 4401 compared to the previous 2385 is that this is not Piguet based. It's an AP in-house caliber, and it's fully integrated. So on the old Royal Oak Offshore, you had a modular movement. It was a module from Dubois de Praz on an AP base, and the AP base was just over 26 millimeters in diameter, so it was often too small for the case. The Frederic Piguet 1185, which was the basis for the 2385, was also very small at under 26 millimeters in diameter and not made in-house, so it rarely came with a display case back. Now we have a fully integrated movement that's properly sized for the case and made by Audemars Piguet. It's braced against shock with a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance. And remember, the older movements operated at a lower frequency, 3 Hz. This is a higher frequency, 4 Hz, so potentially even more accurate. It's a 40-jewel caliber that combines a judicious blend of hand finishing and manual finishing with an attractive overall architecture. You can see some of the different techniques applied. It is a column wheel vertical clutch chronograph. So vertical clutch means the chronograph starts without any jump or stagger, and it always resets perfectly to the index at 12. Plus, with the vertical clutch, you can leave it running full time with no additional wear and tear to the watch. The column wheel, which you can see, black polished, makes for a crisp and snappy chronograph operation. The previous Royal Oak Offshore Chrono used a cam-based module. This is a lot more pleasing. Finally, one of the features that makes this different from most vertical clutch movements is that if you look right under my finger here, you can actually see the vertical clutch moving. It's very subtle, but the ability to see the clutch system in action makes this more visually attractive than your standard vertical clutch chrono. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this Royal Oak Offshore in 43 millimeters.